Roll, please.
Howard.
Here.
Cloyd.
Here.
Redland.
Here.
Showalter. Archer.
Here.
Everybody please stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is anybody signed up for public comment?
For public comment.
We'll answer to whatever they're asking.
This is
There's no sheet.
Did you want?
They don't have a sheet. He went down to go get it.
Okay. We'll just wait a minute.
But they'd be the only ones.
Yes.
Reports.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to sign that.
Okay.
We'll do it later in the meeting.
Okay, that's what
All
I
right.
figured.
We'll move on to
Oh, I left
consent agenda items. A, 3/2/26 commission meeting minutes, and B, appropriation ordinances. Any comment or further discussion on those?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda items A and B.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ridland,
Second.
a second by Commissioner Archer. Roll please, Shauna.
Redland.
Yes.
Cloyd.
Yes.
Archer.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Showalter.
All right. There's no proclamations and presentations. We'll move on to number 5, ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 1818, rezone 504 East 7th Street from R1 from R1 to R2. No.
Zach will probably pick it up. This is ordinance 1818, even though the CCCF in your packet's at 1804. Didn't catch that change.
Okay.
But it's an ordinance to rezone 504 East 7th Street from R1 to R2.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
The property in question that we will be talking about are these 3 lots right here. The owners would like to put on 2 duplexes onto that lot and have it on one ownership. With it being R1, that would not be allowed, which is why the request for R2, to have 2 duplexes on one individual lot. There is other aspects around it that are multifamily. We also just had another rezoning that was just on the other side of Caldwell to the west from this going to multifamily. That's all I can think of right now. I didn't grab it out of my office.
The planning commission had a hearing last week on Tuesday, and they recommended approval of the change in zoning. As you can see, the R2 is identified by the red, and directly north of the vacant lot is the Sparks and Handy Towers. That's the big red square on that side. And then, like Zach said, on the other side of that little commercial area on North Caldwell between 8th and about 5th, over on 6th and Clark is an area next to that communications tower. And behind the school district building there's a area that was rezoned to R2, and the building is almost up at this point on that side, on Clark right now. So they reviewed, and there's several things in the packet as far as what they consider, including the character of the neighborhood, the consistency with the comprehensive plan, the adequacy of public utilities, the suitability of the uses to which the property has been restricted under its existing zoning. And the basic reason is because of the financing that the property owner has, he needs to keep ownership for 5 years. So he wants to keep ownership of both duplexes. And that's actually just one lot, even though it shows 3 lots. The 3 lots are in one zoning lot. It's all identified as one parcel. But that entire side of the street is vacant at this point. So didn't appear that it would detrimentally affect the neighboring property. And one thing that the planning commission considered, and they also brought up on the previous rezoning on the other side of Caldwell, was the transition from the commercial area, transition to multifamily or R2 district to R1, and just have kind of that, a little bit of additional transition from the commercial area. There's also a house on that block within the green area, within the commercial. 2 houses on the very north end of that block. But directly to the west is the storage yard for Ace Hardware.
Okay.
So that's probably easier for you to visualize than anything else next to it. And obviously next to the storage yard for Ace Hardware is Ace Hardware itself. So.
I mean, I'm in favor of it because, I mean, it keeps us growing. It's creating more tax revenue for us, so.
No, honestly, thank you to Zach and to the planning commission for doing the heavy lifting on this, making this seem like a pretty easy decision by doing all the hard work for us.
It also opens up just additional options for people that want to move into the community. So, definitely in favor.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1818.
Got a motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second it.
got a second by Commissioner Cloyd. Roll please, Shauna.
Archer,
Yes.
Cloyd,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Showalter, Howard.
Yes.
Exactly.
Moving on, resolution 2026-07, resolution recognizing a third-party fee assessed for the use of credit card and debit card and e-check payments. Kent?
We introduced this topic at last meeting, just said that staff would be bringing a resolution to. There's obviously third-party fees, software fees associated with electronic transactions, whether it's credit card, debit card, or electronic check. at the first, the city, when they first introduced electronic payments about a decade ago, a little over a decade, it resulted in minimal fees. However, both with the increase by the software vendor and also the increasing usage, it's become it's come to the point where we need to go ahead and pass that transaction cost on to, or that's what the staff recommendation is, passed on to the customer. You see it at most businesses at this point, where that's part of the deal. We're currently several $1,000s a month is what we end up paying for electronic payments. So I don't know, Shauna, if you had anything else to add to that description.
I don't know.
I think it makes sense. Like you said, most businesses, if not all businesses, that's what they do. They pass the savings on to the consumer. So
So, by electronic payments, are these just bank transfers, or does that include credit card payments? What
Credit-
all does that encompass?
credit card, debit card, e-checks.
Does it say that on there and I didn't
Yes.
notice?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
The one question I had is, with the transfer to the new software in the fourth quarter of 2026, they'll have an option for the auto ACH transactions that they would not have fees. So we're talking about between now and when that new software is implemented,
There will
would
be
the
fees.
only option for no fees be if they write a check
Or cash.
Or cash.
or cash?
Yep.
Just wanna make sure we have some form of payment where they wouldn't have the fees.
I think it's also good to let the citizens know so that if they want to make adjustments and not have those fees, it's cash or check.
If you have the auto debit, will you be charged this fee? Shauna?
There is a small, $1.35 fee. So it's small if you do it out of a check, e-check, but there is still a fee.
Because the banks are starting to charge all those
Mhm.
fees for those
Yep.
various ACH transactions, so.
I mean, on the business side of things, it makes sense to charge the people the fees, because, I mean, if you figure 5,000 a month, I mean, that adds up in a while, that's 60,000 a year.
And it's actually more than that at this
Right.
point. The one, the one hesitation staff has had for the last few months is because the people that are on the edge oftentimes will pay with a credit card or a debit card. And we don't want to add fees to them,
Sure.
but that's part of the cost. And that's
Right.
the other 2,000 customers in the city shouldn't have to pay part of that person's bill, is the basic reasoning behind it.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-07.
A motion by Commissioner Redland,
I'll second it.
seconded by Commissioner Cloyd. Any other further discussion?
Would this take effect, like, as of today?
May first.
May 1st? Again, am I missing that? I'm just,
It's
okay.
in the packet.
Yep, I'm looking right at it, I'm just, sorry.
Shauna, roll please.
Howard,
Yes.
Redland,
Yes.
Showalter, Cloyd,
Yes.
Archer.
Yes.
All right, moving on to formal actions. The airport terminal restaurant lease.
We had this before you at last meeting. There was some concern regarding having no payment for utilities included in the contract, although they do pay for the gas, natural gas through Black Hills. Did come and work with the potential lessee, the L&T, to change the amount to $500 per month for utilities. Now, that's not the entire amount, but it varies obviously all year. There's obviously more during the summer with the air conditioning than not. But that is for a good portion of the year, that is you know, like I said before, the last 2 years that the restaurant was running, in 21 and 22, it was around $600 a month. 1 year and over, a little over, it was over $700 a month the other year. Now, part of that was maybe how much it was open, I don't know. But have this recommendation for you to include the $500 per month, and then it can be changed once they've successfully moved in and operating. And we can, there's a, the term is 1 year, and then it can be renewed. We can call for, if we want to change the contract, work that out agreement with the lessee at this time, you know, at that time.
Well, I mean, we, in a year, we can reevaluate the utility part of it and see where we stand with them in there as running the restaurant, and make a decision at that time if we wanna raise it or keep it the same, so.
And I appreciate them being willing to work with us on this and not just turning it away
Mhm.
with the questions, so.
It's been several years since the restaurant has, it's a hard place. And since it's out of the way. And it's been several, but people remember, and I get reminded of that several times from people around town, that they really enjoyed having a restaurant at the airport, and we remember going there to let me know of various times when they've had a good time there. Apparently that stopped several years ago, and it hasn't occurred again. Oh, and hopefully now with L&T, it'll be a good situation and it'll be successful, so.
Do we need a motion for this?
To approve the lease, yes.
I will make a motion to approve the lease with the $500 update.
Got a motion with Commissioner Archer,
Second.
got a second by Commissioner Ridlin. Shauna, roll please.
Cloyd,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Archer,
Yes.
Showalter, Howard.
Yes. Moving on to discussion items. A county request will trade right-of-way acquisition to the city to exchange for the Wallach Building ownership. Kent?
The county attorney sent me a notification that he's been authorized to make this inquiry with us. And this is really just for information at this point, for you all. What's on the screen now shows what could be extended right away from 2nd Street out to K27. The beginning of that on the right side of the screen is where Topside Manor and that block of concrete that was completed. And then just extend that road all the way west until you hit K27. They are working with the property. We own the property in the first half of it.
Is that the red
Uh,
or that?
Where his cursor is, we own that parcel. That's the city's parcel. And then to the west, the darker parcel is a different owner. And that's who the county is working with, and they are concluding they would be granted the right of way. They want to hand that to us, to the city, so that in the future, and unless something amazing happens, I would say it'd be a longer future than a more near-term future, but they would give us the right of way. In exchange, we had this discussion at a previous city-county joint meeting. Had a discussion regarding the Wallach building, which is the building where the fire department and the ambulance is located. The building is owned by the city. And we have basically an agreement so that the fire department can be there and ambulance can be there. But in exchange for the right of way, then they would like to have ownership of the Wollock building. So they can do some additional things with it, I would suppose. Didn't have any of that included in the request.
What would that mean for the Wollock building with the city? Like, would that change anything for the city? That if we wouldn't have ownership of it?
We don't have any current operations in the building. The one caveat that was brought up at the city-county joint meeting is if the county vacates it at some point in the future and the fire department's no longer located there, whose authority would it be? What would locate there next? That might take a little bit of thinking cap as far as, you know, that may be 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, but it could happen. And that was the concern that was raised for the city commissioners at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think JJ and Brooke were at that meeting where that discussion was had. I don't know what other concerns were raised at that time. That's the one that,
It's the one I could recall.
In the city, we as the city, we maintain the outside of the building and the
Right.
structure itself. So we have insurance.
correct.
It would reduce costs, overhead costs.
You would get rid of the building for
It would reduce a
the-
little
the-
bit
the
of cost.
insurance.
And the insurance.
Not a huge amount, but
So
it's
they're
obviously something.
they're trying to get ownership of the pink, or right of way of the pink,
Yes.
and then transfer that to us would be the idea.
Correct.
Because we already have right of way ownership or whatever of the red. No.
Well, I'm gonna have to be the pointer here. This part is on our property. The red, yes. I
Okay.
couldn't tell the colors until I got closer.
Okay.
Cause I was looking from that. That was a lot farther. The purple,
Right.
mauve, whatever.
Magenta.
Is the area that they're acquiring, yes. Until it gets to the K-27 right away,
Mm-hmm.
so they aren't gonna acquire all the way to the actual road right away. Cause that right away for the highway's 100 or 200 feet wide.
How wide would that right of way be? Do you know? For the street?
No, I do not. I'm sure it's at least 60, I'm trying to remember if it was 60 or 80 foot right away.
And that's wide enough for if we ever did put a street through there?
It would for 2-lane street, definitely be wide enough. That's what most of our right of way,
I was gonna say, like,
60
to
foot
80.
is kind of like the minimum for a lot of streets in town.
So are they? Why are they wanting to do this part? Just to get ownership of the Wollock building? Like, is it a
Yes.
going about it like a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type
Mhm.
thing? I just don't know what sparked the.
they really want that building.
Is that what kind of
Yeah.
what it is?
They do have interest in that.
Okay.
There have also been, and within 2 weeks of starting here, I had somebody come up and advise that we need to punch out Second Street out to K-27 at that time.
So it's been a thing for a while.
For several years, different people have said something about it. But until you would have housing or something else, I mean, that would be quite expensive for us to do on our own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like we are putting in the earmark request to have the second entrance into the industrial park. And the beginning estimate of that cost is around $1 million or so. It might be a little bit less than that. And that is probably a shorter distance than what's up on the screen. Now, this wouldn't have to handle truck traffic, so you'd have a little bit less. reinforcement, but it still would need to be a decent road. But it would be a good access route. There's good reasons behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, access
Yeah.
to the hospital,
Yeah.
access to that part of town people would use. And also to events that are at the fairgrounds or at the cemetery. It would be easier for people to access that part of town. But for the city itself to set aside funds to actually, without something else to occur, it would be difficult. And you guys could authorize that, obviously, but it'd be a high hurdle.
We have all that zoned out there for the housing or whatever, right? You know what I'm trying to say, that we did for the,
The triplexes.
yeah. I think
For
so.
the MIH.
Yeah, for the grant.
application, Moderate Income Housing
Yeah.
Grant. We did,
Okay,
and we were hoping. And that parcel has actually been annexed. It doesn't show on the GIS yet, but north of the two ponds, that's the waste stream from the water treatment plant. The actual MIH application for this time was really just on the two parcels north of Topside Manor.
yeah.
But he was looking to continue that in subsequent ones to the west onto that parcel. Now, if some of that occurs and you get closer to K-27, then you get a little bit better shot, but it's still, the right of way the county is acquiring, I think, is 1,200 feet or something like that in length. Josh is gonna measure it to prove me right or prove me wrong. So.
Roughly 75 foot.
Probably 80-foot right of way.
Okay.
That's all my questions, I think.
But the one thing we can do, we can ask for a joint meeting at some point to discuss it. You guys have a little bit of knowledge regarding it and let you ponder it. There's obviously no action that needs to be taken right now, but
They ask for a response by a certain time or anything like that?
no. Just that we could start discussing.
Right. Well, I can understand they want, they want the building so they can do more improvements to the inside. It's hard to rent a building and do improvements to the inside, and then if you ever leave, you have to take it all out or put it back to close to original as possible. I can understand their thinking on that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, we had a lot of hindrances based off of like right now the agreement works great between the city and the county, but if it were to ever fall apart with the fire department, which may not be us, it may be commissions way down the line, and we were just trying to make sure that we were keeping our side so we could reuse that building if we needed it. If I remember correctly, that was also said. So, I think it's a lot to think about.
Yep, for sure. Any other questions? All right. We'll move on to reports. The city.
Okay. We have the,
Sure.
621 what?
West 17th.
West 17th.
Move to discussion item B to discuss 621 West 17th Street. Zach.
Decided to just remove the addition of the structure and move forward with the abatement of the rest of the structure. The property owner has a request for you though tonight. I will leave it to her to ask.
Okay, come on up.
we talked about removing the porch, and, I've taken off lots of roofs before, but that was not coming apart, so I'm gonna need more time. But we discussed it, and we're kinda doing it backwards anyway, because we need to have a door on the cellar before we, structure that, you know, that it's keeping the weather out, that porch is keeping the weather out of there. So, and then we also have the inside to start working on, and we're not getting any extra time on that. What we'd like to do is take the walls out after we get the door so where it'll be waterproof, because that's just defeating purposes. That's why we had to get the roofs fixed in the first place, to keep the water out of the structure. So, we wanted to just keep the porch roof and and have a porch back there. And we're
Like
having,
an awning.
yeah, like awning,
Right.
yeah. And then add more time for all of the cold weather and that we can't work on. So we couldn't work on the roof, we couldn't work on the other stuff. And we will add the sister boards to the porch so where it will be solid.
You know, as the commission, I think we're just wanting this to progress and get done and not just sit there and not do anything. I mean, last week the weather was fairly nice except for Friday.
No, we've had 3 days that we couldn't work in. It was too cold, those
Not
high
last
winds
week, there
were
was
2
one day that was
days.
70 degrees.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I was injured,
yeah.
and we have an agreement not to work by ourselves over there for safety. And even if we're professionals, accidents happen. You know that.
They do.
Yes.
But like I said, I think we just don't want it to drag out over and over and over, longer and longer and longer. We want it to get the outside up to where Zach has talked to you about, that meets everything that Zach has done with you guys. I mean,
I have a question. You're talking about the outside, and he's told us we can't work on the outside.
He said it's structural. It
well,
has to
yeah, I
be
mean,
structural.
that's part of the outside. I mean, if the roof is not structural, that's part of the outside. It's the structure of the outside roof.
Okay.
Okay,
The
all
roof
right.
is ready for shingles if you'll let us do that.
But
we
it
have
needs to be sistered
has
up
to
from
be
the,
sistered up, yes.
yeah, not just with a partial 2x4. It needs to be
Mhm.
whatever those
Right.
are. That's why I stated that it'd probably just be easier to remove it and start over if you want to start over. I mean, that's,
Well, that
sometimes
doesn't
you have to
sound
bite
easier
that
to
bullet
me.
and go through it.
What we'll probably we'll ask to put up is a porch, not an enclosed porch.
Right.
But
Just
that
leave it-
roof is
just-
not coming down. It doesn't, we're gonna have
doesn't
to have
want to.
machinery, we're gonna have to have men, I don't know.
Zach, what are your thoughts on that?
It's
it
gonna, I
didn't
mean, it's gonna
budge.
cost just as much money to replace all the joists and to sister the joists with the similar sized or bigger joist members than it is just to take the building down and to get an actual door to put on the cellar.
It's not gonna cost us anything, cause we have the materials.
So since the last commission meeting, what progress has been made? Like, were you able to do any progress at all?
We took the siding off of the outside.
so where we can take the outside walls off, once we get it more,
We put support boards up because we're working on the walls. And, we haven't,
we've done measuring and stuff for,
yeah.
the door, the cellar door, and what materials we need to get out of our stuff. All this takes time. We can't put like an 8-hour day after I work a 8-hour shift. And she helps her husband at home, so we work in the afternoons usually.
Usually 2 to 4 during the winter, and it'll be longer probably unless Abel calls me and says he needs me to come home.
How much more time are you thinking you're going to need?
We didn't test, we
Too
don't
many
talk.
variables to tell you exactly how long. For
Well-
just the porch or just for everything?
For the,
For everything that they're asking us to do?
What do you guys think?
what is the question? Is it,
How much time are you requesting? Cause you're
Well, right
requesting
now,
more
For
time.
everything or for just for the porch?
Step one is a porch,
Porch.
right? And we're already behind when it was supposed to be done, correct?
Okay, so let's just do the porch.
Okay, the porch. If the weather's good, we can get it done in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, would have been happier if they'd have you'd have given us a month last time.
so ask for a
And,
month, if we can get a month then. But see, that doesn't progress the inside of the building. He doesn't move those.
I'm not concerned regarding sheetrock, drywall, paint, like carpet. I want the structure to be sound. By
Right.
structure, I mean the main components of the building.
The window.
Yeah, that's what we would,
And if
that's,
So if we give you 2 weeks and Zach can come out, I guess
this
on,
is 2 weeks past the date that he has in for that area,
no,
those
for the
areas?
porch today. 2 weeks from today, so the next commission,
It'd be
April
3
7th.
weeks until the
3
next
weeks.
commercial, which gives them an extra
So that
week.
gives
So
Gives you
3
3
weeks. We'll
weeks.
give you an
Plus
extra
a week
week
for
on the
that.
house. How
By
about
the-
that?
by the Friday before our next commission meeting, Zach will come out and look, and so he can make a report, so we can get it in the commission, in the agenda. The porch needs to be, the door needs to be on the cellar, and whatever, the structure needs to be sound, dried
The
in,
porch structure or the whole house?
the porch structure.
Okay. Cause we still have to work some structure in the house, and from what I understood him saying last time, that didn't change any dates for us to finish that in there too.
Well, I think
So the
we're
floor,
behind anyway,
the
right?
floor joist was part of the porch that needed corrected. That goes over the cellar.
It's under the kitchen. Not the porch.
So the pictures I took were all of the same area. So are we talking about the same place? Because I'm talking about the south side of the house in the backyard.
Okay, the south side of the house is the kitchen and the porch, enclosed porch.
Okay, so there was floor joists running through there that had broken that I had taken pictures of and reported to you guys at the very beginning of this. That was what I was concerned about on the inside with the second portion of the 60 days to get everything corrected.
We're gonna need more time if that's included, cause we can't do the structure on the kitchen area for the floorboards and do the doors and tear down the outside of the porch, and that's a lot.
Where are we looking at here, Zach?
That's right inside the back door. So to the right there would be the cellar.
That's a cellar, we have a board across it, the board's underneath it, so we don't step
Okay,
in
I
there.
see it now.
Cause we're working in there, so we need that covered, but it's not,
It's not permanent,
It's not. yeah, it's definitely not permanent. So, we need to get a door on there that will be waterproof.
The floor joists that are needing replaced are in the next room over,
Past the
Past that.
ladder.
ladder.
Trying to visualize it.
If you're in the alley, JJ,
That door runs perpendicular to the alley running this
that-
way,
if you walked out that door, you'd walk into the alley.
where the ladder's at.
Yeah.
And that,
That-
the,
where the
the
ladder-
cellar
that-
door,
Facing
that
the
ladder's
house.
going to the west.
right, and the cellar door's here,
Yes,
alongside it, okay.
yes,
And the floor joists are in the other room.
yes.
Right, to the west.
Which I'm not concerned about that right now. The whole first part was getting
But we need
everything
longer if we,
weatherproofed and dried in, getting the roof abated and everything. And then we got hung up on getting the porch addition of the roof abated to meet the second requirement of 60 days of getting the inside portion structure worked on.
Now, when you told us that we had a little more time on the roof, I asked, does that make everything else go further out? And you said yes.
Correct. If we were still meeting timelines and we were coming in here and making progression, that is correct. But very little progression has been made, which is why I brought it back to the city
We
commissioners.
practically rebuilt the roof on this. We replaced almost everything on it. Two little old ladies. Come on.
I understand that, but we also started this back in December. And I get the weather and the cold and everything like that, but there's still a timeline that needs to be held of
And you
getting
don't-
things
and you
corrected.
don't-
So-
You think you're giving us enough time?
The commissioners are the ones allowing the time, which is why I wanted you to come talk to them and not me. That's why I requested you to come talk to the commissioners tonight.
Okay.
I will give my 2 cents on this because this is out of my scope in just everything. I understand your frustration more than you probably realize, and I want to help you guys as much as we can. Where we're at is we have to be as consistent as we can with every zoning issue, or every coding issue we deal with. That's kind of the thing. We do understand you are older ladies and you're doing this yourselves and all that. But we can't, if we're gonna make exceptions for you guys, we're gonna have to make exceptions for other people, and it's just gonna be a snowball effect of people
On that
trying
note,
to.
It took a year to take down the house on 16th and Kansas.
Where was that?
16th and Kansas.
And again, we're
Purple house.
You mean, oh,
we are working with you guys as we can, and in the same breath, since this is beyond kind of what I feel super comfortable, we do have Zach for a reason, and I'm gonna lean on him for this more than I will lean on my expertise because I don't really have any. So that's where I'm at with the situation.
The thing that I would say is like, we need you guys to say, cause I hear what you're saying, you know, maybe there has been a few days where the weather's been bad. I just pulled up the weather for the next 2 weeks, looks solid. Obviously things can change. But what we need from you guys is to say, what can you have complete by the next commissioner meeting? And that would include Zach coming in, like, checking it as well. And then at the next commissioner meeting, if that's not done, so then we want another meeting where the expectations said haven't been met, then we have to have a really serious conversation. That's just my thoughts on it. Regardless of weather or anything else.
I think that you're to the point now where it's just whatever's the immediate goal. And is it met or is it not met? And then the reason this is brought to you tonight is that the immediate goal wasn't met for this last one, so, okay. Well, there's another 3 weeks till the next commission meeting. What's the immediate goal that can get done? And for sure. And then,
The cellar door.
well, it's more than the cellar door, but
Well,
Yeah.
to make progress, to get to a point to say, yes, we are proceeding.
mhm.
That's what
We can get
is
it
wanted
shored
to
up
be
and-
seen at this
yeah,
point.
We can get it shored up and we can get the cellar door done. And we would put shingles on probably in that time too. But
Not
we
if
don't
they're
wanna
gonna-
do it if you're gonna tell us we have to take it off.
We're not gonna put anything on there, maybe jar paper. But there's no sense in putting it on there if we're gonna tear it down.
My thought on it, cellar door needs to be done. The roof joist needs to be sistered. And tar paper on the roof dried in 3 weeks.
So that means ripping, right? Dried in.
No, tar paper, synthetic felt, dried in,
Yeah, just so that it doesn't
Okay.
doesn't leak.
leak.
Okay.
Zach, you comfortable with that?
Yep. I agree.
I am okay with that.
we'll see where we get to.
Okay.
3 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yep,
guys.
thank you. All right, let's move on to reports, city manager.
In your packet is the manager memo, also the month-end fund balance report for February, as well as the monthly activity report for the police department. We do have the earmark request for the second entrance. The portal is now open, and they're starting to take those applications for that earmark. So that's actually kind of jumped ahead as far as when the application is actually provided to the agency that will be responsible for it. So Senator Moran has opened up his, most of the other senators had already, and then he opened it up, and then the application is due by Wednesday of this week. So we are to that point. We had letters of support from 5 different businesses in town. That was much appreciated. And it's looking like that will have a favorable response based on their meetings with the officials, with the staffers, with Senator Moran's office. The street department also completed some work at the intersection within the industrial park. Added another little strip of concrete into that T intersection that's going to make it better for the trucks passing over it. The street survey, Andrew provided some information. They have been delayed a little bit because of health issues with one of their crew chiefs. The right-of-way of information has been collected, and they plan to be here no later than the first full week of April to start topographical work or topo work. This is regarding the 8th Street project from K27 to Caldwell or Cherry. That will take a few weeks to complete the topographical work because it's obviously a lot more points to calculate. They'll have a preliminary set of drawings to bring to the commissioners at the second meeting in May. And they are taking core samples the past couple weeks. I don't know if you've seen Jerry out there. That information will be used to give us an alternative base to use and hopefully maybe a little bit more inexpensive option for when it goes. They're still planning to get the project bid and have the entrance to the highway at least done by the end of the year. Because the actual construction project will be split into 2 years. Some will be done before winter this year. And then they'll mobilize for the main part next year. So that's the deal regarding 8th Street. You guys have any questions? The Historical Museum is working through different proposals, and they'll be putting a mural on the side of the Historical Museum. I don't know if we've announced that to you all previously, but they will have actually a couple different grants involved in order to pay for that mural. But they've had some interesting proposals so far.
So they haven't picked an artist or a mural
I have
yet?
not been advised of the winner of the proposals as yet. So they were having a meeting today, right before this meeting. So I did not attend that meeting. So, but that's that. And then also one. Just a reminder, a tour of city facilities will be on April 8th, so that'll be on that Wednesday. We'll have one more meeting before that date, but just wanted to put in a reminder now. And we're looking at starting that at 5 o'clock, unless you guys wanted to start earlier than that. But I don't know if everybody can make it, if it was earlier, so.
Where are we meeting? Here?
I feel like you were looking
Haven't
at me.
decided upon that.
Okay.
could be at one of the places, so.
How much earlier? You
Well,
know
no,
what?
it's not four. If not,
We can-
that's not fine.
3, 4. I should be fine by then. If not,
But,
I can just sleep in the back, right?
Put up 4, but not earlier than that.
We usually just take a couple hours, but it does have to go quick to get
Yeah.
done in 2 hours.
I don't want to take up too much of the
Department head's time.
department heads' times. Yeah,
Are they
Yeah.
staying late for us?
they will be.
They
So
will
that's why I'm,
So
if
we
we can get
will-
it, if we can get it closer, maybe like if you, even if we want to do it around. When do you guys usually get off? Is it 3, 2,
We get off.
4, 4? Minus Jason. So
So if we started at 4, that would help, so they're not.
It could be.
My babysitter got a job, so I might be bringing the baby with me now. Just a warning.
by all means,
Dang it, I know.
would be great.
So, we'll confirm that for sure on the next meeting. I'll let you guys know.
Sounds good.
Cause I gotta talk with those guys tomorrow morning, so. Get some responses and to a couple of folks who aren't here, so. And also it let you know last time that, police department, was not able to apply for a grant. In fact, they got turned down on the second place that they looked in order to get a grant for the drone. But they're being told right up front, they don't provide funding for drones at all. They get too many requests for it or something, so. But they did have the possibility of applying for a vehicle, so they are investigating that right now, so. Through that route. And that's all I have.
Any other questions for our city manager? All right, we'll move on to the commissioner's report. I'll start on my right down here with Commissioner Archer.
No, nothing to report.
Commissioner Cloyd,
Nothing for tonight?
Commissioner Ridlin,
Nothing at this time.
and the mayor's report. I have nothing at this time. I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Ridlin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Cloyd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.